Hey everyone, welcome to the Dare to Care podcast, the podcast where we talk about the inner workings of ministry at Inspire Family Fellowship and community stories within and around the church. If you have any comments, stories, or questions about Inspire or our Dare to Care ministries at any point during our podcast today, feel free to send those questions to Amy at inspirefamily.org. We also invite you to join us in person at Inspire any Sunday or Wednesday that you're able, 523 North 21st Street, Bismarck, North Dakota. We have Sunday services at 9:15 and 10:45. And Wednesday, we have a meal at 5, classes for all ages at 6, including adults, and a service at 7. My name's Ty Farnsworth. I'm the worship coordinator here at Inspire Family Fellowship, joined today by Isaac Rhodes. Isaac, what is your official position on staff here?
I am the youth assistant here at Inspire. I basically do whatever Kate asks me to do.
I feel like all of us do that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Including you.
Yeah, including me.
We're joined today by one of my best friends, RJ Hentz. RJ, how are you doing today?
Doing great, Ty. Thanks for having me on. It's an honor to be here. I love listening to you guys.
Absolutely. Well, and I don't adjust your screens or your phones. This is not Century High football.
No.
But you are the voice of a lot of local sports nowadays.
Yeah.
And, off topic, we'll talk about faith in a sec. It's such a cool thing about yourself, and you're wearing the Cardinals shirt.
Absolutely. Go Cards, baby. Even though I know you're a Brewers fan, but that's why I wore it for you specifically.
How did you get involved in broadcasting?
So it was weird. So I started doing any type of announcing in high school. You know, we were in high school together.
You did the announcements every day,
yeah,
didn't you?
And that's how it started is I was vice president for student council, and we would do a homecoming announcement every day, and then doing those every day led to doing the announcements every day. And then Mark Gibson said, you should do our football games. But then the season wrapped up. So then Jordan Wilhelm said, let's do our basketball. And then it just kind of snowballed. So then when I moved out to Montana in 2016, I found a radio job. I just kind of slowly got into it. Kind of got my feet wet in Montana, but I've really dove into it here in Bismarck. And it's been the most incredible experience doing it with my dad.
Yeah, you and your dad have you done college yet at all?
We have not done college.
Okay.
We really want to.
But you did the state championship last year, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah, we did the Dakota Bowl, all 4 football championships for high school football in the state of North Dakota. And then we did the Class AA basketball championships in Fargo.
Very cool. And
that was just an experience in itself. I mean, they take such great care of you over at NDSU, and that whole environment was just unbelievable.
Very cool. Well, let's put broadcasting to the side and just use your voice in a new direction. Tell us a little bit about your faith journey. I don't know how much people know about you. You've been very connected with the Upgrins for a long time, and obviously that's how you're connected with Inspire. But where did faith begin with you?
Yeah, so, faith for me started just growing up. So, my parents were divorced when I was 1 year old. And so I grew up in a split household. But my mom was kind of the one who got me into the Lutheran church. We started going to charity for a brief time there. And so while I was just going along my journey, my mom would take me every Sunday. I would go to Sunday school. She would go to the Sunday service, or I would at least go to the Sunday service. I mean, it was very rare we missed a Sunday. And then when I was old enough, we'd go to the Wednesday services. And then when I moved back, it became Randy saying to me, I'm not asking you to help us. You are going to help us as a volunteer. and that's perfectly fine, because I really wanted to. I really wanted to get back into the church, because when I lived out in Montana, I kind of lost that. And I have never been stronger in my faith journey than I have been when I've been at Inspire.
Sure.
I mean, it is truly incredible to watch what is happening here. And I know that's, I'm speaking honestly about it. But it not only does, when I help other people, it helps me. It makes me feel like a better Christian.
Sure.
It's hard to explain, but that's just, I'm a selfless person. And when I'm selfless, that makes me feel the most wholesome, and I can feel selfish about myself.
Isaac, can you vouch for that? Is he doing his job?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Above and beyond.
I wanted to touch on your mom for a sec. It's maybe a long story, and I don't know if we have time for the details of it, but you mentioned your parents splitting when you were very, very little. What direction did your mom take your family in as just a single mom? And tell us a little bit about your relationship with your mom, how kind of the Upgrins got involved, and
Yeah.
And then we can touch on,
Yeah.
out in Montana if you want.
For sure. So, my mom was she was my rock. I mean, if you were to look up love in the dictionary, I think there would be a picture of her, because she was so compassionate and loving for everybody. And she really kind of got me into, she was in her faith journey, and we both kind of started a faith journey similar, because she was just a recently divorced single mother, and I'm still kind of learning the why and the how of what I'm doing in life. And growing up, I just, it became just normal to go to Sundays. So it became just tradition. But then as I grew up, it's kind of solidified, if you will, within me that, yes, this is the right thing to believe in. That this is something that it's not just, a tradition that you do every Sunday and every Wednesday, or that you believe in it. It's not just, the people. It makes a big difference, but it's what's inside you that you have to believe within it. And I met Josh. This is an interesting story. So we met during Good Friday, and he had just done St. Baldrick's Day. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. And so here comes this 5th grader who's 6'1", and he just comes walking up to me, and for Good Friday service, I'm going to bring the black tapestry, so we put it on the cross, and he was going to bring the crown of thorns. And we just started talking, because I had a Vikings football shirt on or something. He goes, "So you're a Vikings fan, huh?" And that's what started it. Just right there that's what started the friendship. 20 years later, we are brothers. I'm close with the Upgrins. It's not just Josh, though. It's Jordan. I mean, Jordan, I love him to death. He's like a brother. Pam and Randy are like second parents to me. I mean, I love them to death. Mm-hmm. And the big thing too is that when my mom was also was super close with Pam, super close with Randy. I mean, so it wasn't just me being close with them. It was our little family was gained another big family, if you will.
Mm-hmm. What, as you got older and kind of moved into this faith, you mentioned becoming part of the youth program at Charity. Did you kind of feel like a pastor's kid?
A little bit.
In a way.
A little bit. But, I mean, I definitely didn't feel the pressure of the pastor's kid. I know Josh and Jordan felt it. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it was just more of off the side, because growing up, we may get into this a little bit. My dad wasn't too much in the picture. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't too much in the picture. And it was kind of just one of those things like, well, I need a father figure in my life. So growing up, the two men I looked up to in my life were my grandpa on my mom's side and Randy Upgren. Mm-hmm. And to this day, I still look up to those two men, because sometimes I don't like hearing what they have to say. Mm-hmm. But I know that they're saying it out of love and compassion. So I think that was the catalyst, just like getting into it with them has really brought my faith journey upwards, if you will.
Sure. What kind of caused the idea to move to Montana? What was the catalyst for that? Because it was after you graduated. You graduated in 15 and you moved to Montana in 16.
Right, yeah. So I moved in 16. So growing up, when you're in a split family, and it's a big custody battle between parents. And so my custody battle ended up being one of, my mom had pretty much full custody. My dad would see me once a week, and I couldn't move out of the state till I turned 18. So that's kind of how our custody proceedings worked, if you will. Everyone's is different. And so when I turned 18, I was like, do I want to move? I don't know. So I went a year at BSC, trying to figure out my life, trying to figure out what I'm going to do. And then I finally figured out in January of 2016, my family's closer out in Montana, and and my family's closer out in Montana, and I feel like, I was super close with them. I just wanted to be back with them. And again, at the time, I wasn't with my dad, so I was just like, there's really nothing left for me. And at the time, Josh was looking at going to NDSU, who looked like Jordan was going to go to outwards, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to have much left, so I might as well just pack my bags and try something different. And I've always visited Missoula growing up. I love Missoula. It's beautiful. It's just like, it was finally time to pull the trigger and do it.
Mm-hmm. And so how long were you out there?
I was out there, June of 2016 through April of 2023.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it really that long?
Yeah, is how long I was out there in Montana. Yeah.
So, and a lot happened when you were out there. Tell us a little bit about your faith journey when you were out there. You kind of alluded to it maybe disappearing a little bit. How would you describe where you were at in relationship with Jesus while you were out there?
It was definitely distant. My mom and I tried to find a church. It was hard because we just couldn't find anything that would replicate what Randy would preach every Sunday. And little did we know that there was this little thing called Inspire Family Fellowship live streams that we started watching. So like, I remember vividly, there was an Easter service and we joined on the Vimeo live stream or something, and my name popped up. And I think Ernie said something like, "Hi, Tiffany. Hi, RJ," or something. And my mom that was the first time she just felt Christ's love, and I think in a long time. So she really just let it all out. But get through Montana, though, we really just didn't find much. And, we'll probably get into it. My mom passed away in May of 2021. And after that, that's where I pretty much just separated myself from God and Jesus. I mean, I wanted nothing to do with him, because I'm like, if you're going to take my best friend, then why should I even talk to you? Why should I even associate with you? And I was angry. I mean, there's a lot of words I could say, but it was just truly, that's what I really was separated from God when I was in Montana.
Sure. So let's talk about it. You're out there for 4 or 5 years. The Upgrins are here in North Dakota. When you lost your mom, what did that feel like in terms of, like you said, you lost your best friend. You really didn't have much there. I mean, what was that like?
It was hard, to say the least, obviously, but it was just one of those things that I would never wish on anybody, ever. And I think the one thing that I take from it, though, is I was in a moment of loneliness. I had my grandparents, I had my aunt and uncle and my 2 cousins. And they did the best they could. But I think the big thing is it's one of those things of like, the hole can't be filled. And as much as people tried and as much as different things tried, nothing ever filled that. And so my faith journey with God and with Jesus basically came to a halt in May when she passed.
I was at the funeral. We had the funeral here. And I kind of want to transition to more of a positive, uplifting part of your life maybe. But I remember being at the funeral, and this was before I was on staff here. I was just playing in the band. And I knew you and Randy were close. And so afterwards I talked to Randy and I said, "Is he going to be okay?" And he goes, "Do you see who was sitting first or second row?" And I said, "No." And he goes, "His dad was here."
Yeah.
And I went, "Really?" And he goes, "I think something really cool is about to happen."
Yeah.
So you lost your mom, you lost your best friend. Tell us what happened with your dad.
So when she passed, I remember her telling me, like, she told me one time, like a few years prior, obviously not knowing anything, she said, "If something ever happens to me, please do everything you can to let as many people as I knew and loved know." And whether it be her ex-husband or whether it be, me or whomever, let them know. So I felt an obligation to tell him. So I called him. And his first instinct was, I got to get on a flight and be out there. And after not seeing him for that long, I thought, you're going to be a distraction. I just don't want to do this. And he told me he ignored my text message because I told him, don't come. And he booked a flight. And right then and there, we started talking about, like, how's he doing? We haven't really spoken at that time in about 5-6 years. So a lot's changed, obviously, since then, but we just slowly kind of got the wheels turning. We kind of talked through some gnarly things, but we did it in public because I think we would have been maybe yelling at each other if we didn't. But we just talked it out. And then after 2 days, he was in Missoula for 2 days. He was there for her service, and then the next day he was gone. I gave him a hug, and for the first time in my life, I said, "Don't leave me," because it felt like he had filled the hole that she had. And from that moment on, he became the only thing I had going for me at the time. Like, don't get me wrong, the Upgrins were there for me, but it was just like, I could call my dad literally anytime. And I know I could with the Upgrins, but he literally would answer my call at 4 a.m. sometimes saying, "I just need to talk." And I said, "I don't know what's going on, but I just need to talk." And he was the number one reason why I wanted to move back. Mm-hmm. Is like, I came back to visit. I surprised him for Father's Day because we had built that kind of a relationship where we're dang near talking every single day now. And when I came out to visit, I'm like, I can see myself living here again. I work for the post office, not the most exclusive job, but every town has a post office. And it allowed me to come back. And I just remember seeing the relief that when I got a letter saying, "Congratulations, you've been approved for a transfer." I went to my car, I started bawling my eyes out, and I called my dad, said, "I'm coming home." It was the most wonderful news I had ever gotten in the past 2 years leading up to that.
That's awesome. I remember learning that you were coming home, and I myself was really excited. I mean, I've known you since I was probably 10 years old, 11
Stuart
years
Little
old.
days?
Back when we were in community theater and stuff. Have you ever seen these pictures?
Yes, I did.
They're on Facebook for a reason.
Gosh. Yeah. And then we went to high school together, and I just, especially after your mom's funeral, I just remember thinking, when's RJ coming back?
Mm-hmm.
This, and you can disagree with me, but like you said, you're coming home.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're home?
1,000,000,100% yes.
Oh, good.
I mean, Bismarck gets such a bad rep that it's like, you want to live in North Dakota?
Yeah.
But once you get to know the people, it's totally different, because it's like, you two are just the small examples of this, but it's just this community is one thing, and everyone around here is just wonderful. I truly love Bismarck, North Dakota, and I feel so much at home.
Well, we're happy to have you. 4 years on from your mom, your faith has shifted significantly, but specifically with the anger that you had toward God with taking away your mom. How have you reconciled that? Have you reconciled that? Is that something you continue to struggle with and deal with?
So, I'm not trying to boost you when I say this, but I'm going to tell you just a quick little story about it. When I was trying to get into the transfer thing with Montana, you had just done a sermon at Ignite, and it was a Wednesday night, February. I was having the most miserable day because I hadn't heard any news, but like earlier that day, I had just heard the song "Gratitude" by Brandon Lake. It's and it made me cry when I heard it the first time, and then not even 24 hours later, you guys are playing it, and I lost it. And right there, I'm driving home saying, "God, I am so sorry for everything. I am sorry for doubting you. I am sorry for everything. Get me home. If I ask you one thing, get me home." And I was scared for those last 3 months I was living in Montana, because I was like, I wasn't sure if it was going to happen. My U-Haul got canceled at the last minute. There was so many hurdles that I had to get, and I was just like, just get me to that sign where it says "Welcome to North Dakota," and I'll feel it. And I finally got there, and I'm like, okay, now I'm home. And it was just one of those things where I ask for forgiveness every day since then, because I know I'm not perfect, and I know I messed up by screaming at God. And I ask for forgiveness every day, and I know I get it, but it's still, I need to ask for it every day, because or else I personally wouldn't feel it.
And how, just your faith in general, what was the catalyst for coming back to Jesus?
I think it was one of the things that, as I mentioned, my mom left a big hole in my life, and I still miss her every day. I mean, there's not a day that goes by where I really wish she could be here to see this place, where I really wish she could see everything that Bismarck has turned out to be. But I think what I realize is that the only thing that can fill anything in life is Jesus Christ. Anything that And I know that sounds so cliche, but man, it is so true. It's just like nothing for me, nothing is better sometimes than just going to the Bible and opening it up and just trying to understand, like this sometimes doesn't make sense, but it's right and it's true. And it's good to have something in this world that you can go to and believe in. So God and Jesus are definitely filling that hole in my life. It's not 100%, but they're doing the best job they can do.
Well, and you're doing the best job you can do. I mean,
Thank you.
It's so bizarre. Time is flying for me. Like
Right.
when you say you were there for like 7 years
Yeah.
and that your mom's been gone for 4, I'm just like, what?
Right.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
But it's so cool to see how far you've come as long as I've known you. And then, like you said, the relationship with your dad and things like that. You guys call in sports games together.
Yep.
You and I and him played in a golf tournament a few weeks ago, and just seeing you guys communicate in ways that I remember when you didn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
That is so cool to see. And your relationship with Jesus, what you do with these kids here, how much you mean to this place. You were doing the Chicago Bulls theme song as intros at his wedding. I mean,
That was so fun, by the way.
was that your idea?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Because I said to him, I think off the cuff, just, hey, if you need me to do any announcing, and then sure enough, he's like, actually? And I'm like, wait, no way. And we figured, and man, that was the most perfect script, too. You couldn't have asked for it to be any better.
Mm-hmm. That was amazing.
I think the best part was you being the ring bearer at his wedding.
Oh, yeah.
I still have that pillow.
Yeah.
Just the biggest ring bearer you could ever imagine, walking in with this little pillow.
Oh, it was fun. Well, and the thing was that Taylor said to me, like, I was just going to walk down with it. And then she goes, will you do a twirl? And I'm like, for you, anything.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, if she says do it, I'm doing it. No questions asked.
Oh, that's awesome. Apart from the obvious, and you could bring up Josh or Jordan or Randy or Pam again, but is there anyone in your life that maybe you didn't expect influence your faith?
Yeah. Like you said, obvious answer would be the Upgrants, Josh, Jordan, Randy, Pam. I mean, those were big ones. My dad, with his struggles, he also found God, and he's a born Catholic, and his side of the family is very Catholic, but he noticed, like, I brought him to a few Inspire services, and I think he's more noticed that he is definitely more laid and more, I think, following in the Lutheran way than he would in the Catholic way. So the thing I can basically say is just like, he is still teaching me the right godly way, just from a different lens, if you will. And I will say this, the two people sitting in front of me, Isaac and Ty, I mean, Isaac, I didn't expect to meet anybody brand new that I would fall in love with, but I think you're truly an incredible person. I love you like a brother.
Love you too, man.
And I think you're an incredible human being, and your faith journey inspires me always. And Ty, I never in a million years would I have expected Stuart Little to be leading the worship band, but I got to tell you, man, like, you're just a ball of fire, and I love it, man.
Thank you.
And I think that also when you're the main leader of those kids on Wednesday night, and you kill it, man. You're awesome. And so it's like I like to pull just one little thing from people and try to incorporate it in so that I can be a better Christian in my life. So it's like just different people from all walks of life. And so I know I could be naming people forever, but I think those are the main people who I always look up to.
Well, thank you. That
of course
means a lot to me.
Yeah, same here.
So we really appreciate you, and everything you mean for us too. It means a lot. So, Isaac, would you close us in prayer today on behalf of RJ?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel. Take off your hats, guys.
We always say don't close your eyes if you're driving, but
makes sense.
All right. Well, God, thank you so much for bringing RJ back to us here at Inspire. To this community. I just pray blessings upon him and his family going forward. And just thank you for everything that you have done in his life so far and what you have yet to do in his life, whether that be for him personally or what will be affecting this world and this community. God, just thank you for all of these things. Amen.
Amen.
RJ, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks,
Isaac,
guys.
thank you for helping me out on the podcast today. And
Thank you.
Thank you guys for listening. If you want to join us in person, Sunday 9:15 and 10:45, and Wednesdays 5, we have a meal. 6, we have classes for all ages. 7 o'clock, we have that service that RJ mentioned where the kids are pretty high energy. So it's not for everybody, but we invite you to enjoy it all the same. Otherwise, thank you for joining us on the podcast, and we'll see you next Thursday.